Good day everyone, my name is Jetler D. Paliharo. So for today's video, we're making a reflection on what we have learned about MARPOL Annex 5 and MARPOL Annex 6. So first, MARPOL Annex 5. So the regulation for the prevention of pollution by garbage from ships are contained in Annex 5 of MARPOL. So background of MARPOL Annex 5. Garbage from ships can be just as deadly to marine life as oil or chemicals. So, the greatest danger comes from plastic, which can float for years. Fish and marine mammals can in some cases mistake plastics for food, and they can also become trapped in plastic ropes, nets, bags, and other items. So, even such as innocuous items as the plastic rings used to hold of beer and drinks together. So, it is clear that a good deal of the garbage washed up on the beaches comes from people on shore, holiday makers who leave their rubbish on the beach, fishermen simply throw unwanted refuse over the side, or from towns and cities that dump rubbish into rivers. But in some areas, most of rubbish found comes from passing ships which find it convenient to throw rubbish overboard rather than dispose of in ports. And then persuading people not to use the oceans as a rubbish tip is a matter of education. So, the old idea that sea can cope with anything still prevails to some extent, but it also involves more vigorous enforcement of regulations such as MARPOL Annex 5. And then, so MARPOL Annex 5 2018 amendments. The revised MARPOL Annex 5 under Regulation MEPC 70 came into force on March 1, 2018. So, the main change included additional category e-waste in the garbage record book. So, with the added criteria to determine and judge cargo residue based on the extent of harm they do the marine environment. So these are the new categories of garbage record book include: number 1 is plastic, number 2 is domestic waste, number 3 is incinerator, number 4 is waste food products, number 5 is cooking oil, number 6 is animal carcasses or waste, 7 is operational waste, number 8 is fishing instruments, number 9 is e-waste. So e-waste is the new. Number 10 is cargo residue non-harmful to marine environment, and this is also new. Number 11 is cargo residue harmful to marine environment. So, category 1 to 9 of garbage record book came under part 1 of the applicable to all ships. So, while category 10 and 11 came under part 2 of the amended garbage record book, applicable only ships carrying dry cargo. So that is the MARPOL Annex 5 2018 amendments, the revised MARPOL Annex 5 under Regulation MEPC 70 came into effect on March 1, 2018. So MARPOL Annex 6 is the regulation for the prevention of pollution from ship. Entered into force 19 May 2005. Revision to Annex 6 adopted on October 2008 and entered into force on July 1, 2010. So, MARPOL Annex 6 is the part of the IMO or the International Maritime Organization Marine Pollution Convention that seeks to address the impact of air pollution from shipping activities on human health and environment, the impact of emission from ships' activities on climate change and ozone layer depletion. So, why air emission is regulated? Because it affects to human health, affects to the environment, and it affects respiratory system like nose and throat irritation, lung inflammation, respiratory infection, reduces lung function, and it also affects our nervous system. So, memory and sleep disorders, neurological cancer, and it also affects our cardiovascular system like blood coagulation and increased blood pressure. So, ozone depletion. Ozone absorbs harmful components of sunlight known as ultraviolet B. Ozone layer absorbs 93 to 99% of UV rays from the sun. Acid rain. Acid rain influences soil chemistry, plant activities, and the acidity of surface waters in general. In this sense, it means acid rain has many implications to the environment. The increase of acid rain is persistently affecting the human and plant, the chemical composition of the soil, and most importantly, the survival of aquatic life. So, what are the other effects of acid rain? Those are the corrosive effect. So, acid rain has corrosive effects because it eats into metals and stone. As a result, it has led to weathering of building, corrosion of metals, and peeling of paints on surfaces. So, building structures made of marble and limestone are mostly affected by acid rain as the acid eats the calcium compounds in the structure. This effect has damaged buildings, gravestones, statues, and historic monuments. Metals like steel, bronze, copper, and iron are corroded by acid rain. And other effect of acid rain is damage to trees and vegetation cover. So, acid rain penetrates into the soil and dissolves the most vital nutrients needed by trees. Acid rain also discharges lots of aluminum into the soil around the trees that renders them incapable of taking up water. So, thus the trees and vegetation become highly vulnerable to disease and pest attack. Besides, acid rain has led to stunted growth and even death of some trees and vegetation. Other effect of acid rain is acidification of surface water is the immediate effect of acid rain. So, like rivers, brooks, lakes, and ocean have greatly become acidic as a result of acid rain when it precipitates over these surface waters. So, some lakes, rivers, and streams in China, North America, and Europe have become highly acidic to an extent that they cannot support any life forms, creating what is termed as dead zones. So, health implication. Acid rain may not have direct effects on human health. However, the dry deposition in the air that form acid rain and negatively impact human by causing respiratory problems and difficulty in breathing when inhaled. So, children and those who already have respiratory health and conditions such as asthma are adversely affected. Headaches and irritation of the nose, throat, and eyes are some of mild implication. So that is for Marple Annex 6, and that is my reflection about this topic, which is Marple Annex 5 and Marple Annex 6.